Okay. Today's lecture is as I said in the last lecture, it is very important, from our exam perspective and also from this, GATE and other exams, because we were going through these three important lines: Goodman line, so Soderbergh, Gerber line, and Soderbergh line. Since the topic is not complicated, very simple. You guys must have seen it. Those lines are very simple lines, but it is you need to understand it. A concept, conceptual part. So we were not able to finish it in last lecture. So today we'll continue that. We'll continue understanding those lines. We will see equations of those lines today, and at the end of this understanding of these lines, we will see also modified lines. There is something called as modified Goodman line. Okay, so we'll see what is that modified Goodman line, why it is called modified line. Okay, and how we, to construct it, and at the end of the lecture we will see something called as cumulative damage. I want to cover that topic also, so that our syllabus wise our this unit is finished here. Then we have one more lecture for this unit 3, and in that I will try to cover a problem of these different lines. Okay, so I have explained you the agenda. So let's continue with whatever we have left. Actually, I was supposed to use whiteboard from the Zoom, but since we continued, I did it in the Paint last time. Let me just share my screen with you guys. Share screen. I want to share this. Okay. So since we continued, okay, what is the chat saying? Okay, saying good morning, all guys. Ravi, Ruturaj, Prasad, and if you guys are not able to hear me, just send me a message. I keep watch on that. So as I was saying, we continued. I drew a diagram on the paint. I will use the same diagram, for the explanation. But today we'll go through what are the equations of those lines. So quickly in 2-3 minutes, again I will explain you what are these lines, because so that we will continue with the equations of the lines. The first, now actually these lines are used where there is a fluctuating load, right? When there is a fluctuation, then two important things come into mind, that is amplitude and mean, that is average. What we have seen in the average is that where the stress is varying, right? Like this is a cyclic stress. Here sigma max and sigma mean. Okay, here mean is 0 and minimum is and maximum, they are same but opposite direction. So average becomes 0, but amplitude is equal to max, right? So something like this, these are the cycles. So if it may be fluctuating stress, repeated stress, or reverse stress, whatever may be the case, if we take average of mean and max, we get sigma mean, right? Or sigma average. And if we take the difference and divide by 2, we get amplitude, right? So these two important things, once we know for any fluctuating or cyclic load, the maximum and the minimum, then we can calculate the amplitude and the mean. And if we plot this mean stress against the amplitude, means the variation of the mean stress with the amplitude, and if we start to plotting, if we start plotting the failures, like for given mean at what amplitude, means what, the mean is fixed, but the amplitude, you are changing the variation of max and mean from the mean. That variation, if you change, it will start having some failure points. So we plotted all the various points, and we have seen that the points are, they are fall along a smooth parabolic line called as Gerber line. Now in these three lines, only Gerber line is curved. Okay, so remember that only Gerber line is curved. So that's why it's a parabola, Gerber's parabola. Okay, so its line is actually Gerber's parabola. Okay, so but what was the problem with Gerber line? That this is the approximate line of the failure points. Okay, so some points were falling below this line, the chances of failure were there. Okay, so that's why what we did, now for the Gerber line, we have a starting point on amplitude axis, and starting point on the mean axis. Now what are the starting, so if the starting point on the amplitude axis, right? that is y-axis, that time mean is 0. That means sigma mean is 0. That means it's a completely reversed cycle. Just now we have seen in the previous diagram, when mean is 0, that max and mean are equal but opposite, right? It's a completely reverse cycle that we have seen. So in that case, when we have a completely reverse cycle like a shaft, right, that time failure will be your endurance limit, right? So SE. So it will be, failure will be endurance limit. I mean, beyond that limit, if the stress, it will go for infinite life. If the stress is less than that, if the stress is, more than that, then it will have some finite life. So this failure point SE will be on amplitude axis, right? On the mean axis, that means what? Amplitude is 0. When amplitude is 0, that means there is no variation. Max and mean are not there. That means the load is static. So failure point on sigma mean will be ultimate stress, SUT. Okay, are you getting my point? So for plotting Gerber line, we have start point, end point, and the smooth parabolic curve was there. Okay. Now, but since as I said, some points were falling below the line, we have drawn a straight line instead of parabolic curve. We have drawn a straight line from SE to SUT, and that line is called as Goodman line. Okay. Now all the points of failure are beyond this line, right? So what happens is that all the points are beyond these lines means now it is design is completely safe from the fluctuations point of view or from the variation cyclic point of view. But again, there is one more problem with the Goodman line. What is the problem? That we are considering SUT, okay, means ultimate stress. But as an engineer, we know that we do not never go till the ultimate stress. Our component will start failing only at end only. Means once it start yielding, stretching, that means it will start failing. So as an engineer, mechanical engineer, we are more interested in SYT. So what we did, again we plotted on this. SYT is what? Static limit, right? So because we use a limit of SUT, instead of that we use limit of SYT. Means instead of using a limit of ultimate stress, let's use unit of yield stress. So if we plot that on x-axis and y-axis still same endurance limit and draw a line, that means this is the safest line called as Soderberg line. Means below this line, there is chance of failure because of the fluctuation is also not there, and chance of failure because of the static load is also not there. Are you getting mine? So Soderberg line is called most conservative or most safe line, right? Because there is no chance of failure below this line because of fluctuation as well as because of static load. Are you getting my point? So there are these three lines. These three lines, each of them have different understanding, and each of them have different equation, and each of them has different application. Gerber is approximate failure curve, right? Goodman line is safe curve, but it is doesn't it considers SUT. So chances of mechanical failure are there, and SYT is complete failure. There are chances of failure because of the static as well as fluctuating load are not there. Okay, so that's why these three laws. Now we'll talk something called as Soderberg modified Goodman line. So this Goodman line we have to modify a little bit. So this center line. Now why we have to modify it? We'll talk about it. But before that, let's try to understand the equations of these three curves. Okay, these three lines. So I hope you guys are very much clear on what are we did this in the last lecture. I just had a revision of that. What are these three? Because if anybody has any doubt, you guys can ask me. Okay, because it should be pretty clear now. But still, if you have any kind of doubt, you can ask me. Okay, I'm just giving few seconds. So if anybody has any doubt, you guys can ask me. In between, I am taking a screenshot of attendance. Okay. Oh, माझा lecture झाला. Okay. So now let's see what is modified. Okay, we'll talk about the modified Goodman line. But before that, let's try to see the equation. Now it is very straightforward. Equations are also very simple. Equations I have noted the equations here. We need to understand how this is. These equations you don't need to even remember it. Very simple. Just remember that we have in a diagram we have two axes. On x-axis we have mean sigma. On y-axis we have sigma amplitude, right? Sigma A. Right. On mean, that means on x-axis, what are the two important points? That is, this is a mean stress. That means on the x-axis, amplitude is 0. That means those are static load. So there are two limits, SYT and SUT, right? On y-axis, x is 0. That means mean is 0. That is completely reverse cycle. That means on y-axis we have only one point, SE, right? So once we have these points, 3 points on x and y-axis, we can derive the equation. Now, how to derive the equation? For that, we need to understand little concept of mathematics, right? Once we know this, actually you guys know about this, but still I will again explain. Now, to draw a equation of a line, okay, how we can see if it is on x-axis. I have taken an example of a line which is having an intersection on both x and y axis. This is an inclined line. Now, how to draw a equation, or what is the equation of this line? If it is intersecting x-axis at point a comma 0, that means its coordinates are x coordinate is a and y coordinate is 0, right? Because obviously it is on x-axis, that means y is 0. Similarly, where it is intersecting y-axis, that time x will be a 0 and y will be b. So if it is a and b, coordinates are intersection with x is a, intersection with y is b, then using this kind of equation, right, the equation of this line becomes x upon a plus y upon b equal to 1, right? So like this is the equation of a line, straight line, which is intersecting at a on x-axis and at b on y-axis. So using this concept, x upon a means x variation in x direction divided by intersection with x plus y upon intersection with y is equal to 1. This is the straight line equation, of a line which is intersecting x and y axis. Now let's try to use this here. Now see, first is x. So now try to, let's say, first try to we'll find out what you can say, say Gerber line, or we say Soderberg line. Okay, Soderberg line is what? It is intersecting SYT and SE. SYT on Soderberg line. Okay, where is Soderberg line? Okay, first sigma n upon SYT, sigma a upon SE. Hold on. Okay, sigma m. Okay, now x-axis is what? X-axis is sigma m, right? So x upon a. So sigma m, the intersection. Now we are trying to derive equation of Soderberg line. Okay, just forget about this. This here it is, with the diagram. Let me just modify that diagram, because it is shown incorrectly in the diagram. Just, okay, so the equation of Soderberg line, we are trying to, the line which is most safe, right? So that time x-axis is sigma m, okay, and intersection with x-axis SYT for Soderberg line. So x upon a will become sigma m upon SYT. Are you getting my point? X, what is shown on the x line? X-axis sigma mean. The sigma mean upon intersection is SYT plus what is on y-axis? Sigma a upon SE. So if you see the Soderberg line, sigma m upon SYT plus sigma a upon SE is equal to 1. This is the equation of Soderberg line. It's, you don't even need to remember it. Just simply what you can say, just keep the, what is the equation of a straight line intersecting x-axis? X upon a plus y upon b is equal to 1. Keep that in mind. You don't need to even remember the equation. Now let's try to derive equation of a Goodman line. Okay, Goodman line is what? It is not the most safe, but it is safe from the fluctuation point of view. So that line is sigma m on x-axis upon SUT plus sigma a upon AC. So this second part will remain same. Only thing is first part is sigma m upon SUT. So if you see Goodman line, sigma m upon SUT, sigma a upon SE is equal to 1. Clear? So now we have, because these are two lines are straight lines, the equation is pretty straightforward, right? For Gerber line, now this end will remain same, sigma a upon SE plus, but this end will be, since it's a parabola, so this will be sigma m upon SUT square. So only this part of a Goodman line will take a square of that term to make this thing as a parabola. Okay, so only the equation which is little different is the Gerber line, which is basically the term of sigma m upon SUT will be having a squared term. Are you getting my point? Okay. Now, important thing, how to remember our, how to remember where, which line is where. Just see, we have three lines: Gerber line, Goodman line, and Soderberg line. Right? These are three our Lakshman Rekha. That means we are not going to cross these lines. Okay. So how we will remember it? Remember, there are two G's: Gerber, Goodman, and one S. So two G's are having same start and end point. Just see here. Okay. So Gerber line and Goodman line have same start and same end point. Right. Only thing is that Gerber line is not line; it's a curve, parabola. Gerber's parabola. Right. So that's why Gerber's line is top line, which is parabola. Gerber's parabola. Goodman line is a straight line, SE and SUT joining, and Soderberg line is the third line. Are you getting how to remember it? Very simple. First Soderberg line, Goodman line is SC and SUT, and Gerber line is basically Gerber parabola. Equation first, just if you don't adjust, we'll keep it out of our sight. Now we'll just try to recite what happened. First line of the bottom line is Soderberg line because it doesn't start with G. Equation is S sigma M on x-axis. We have sigma M upon SYT plus sigma A upon SE is equal to 1. Okay. See, Soderberg line. Now Goodman line. What is the equation of Goodman line? Same thing. Sigma M upon SUT plus sigma A upon SC is equal to 1. That is the equation of Goodman line. And Gerber curve or Gerber parabola equation, sigma M upon SUT square plus sigma A upon SC is equal to 1. Got it? So we have pretty clear idea of now the equations, what are these lines, why these lines, like how we draw these lines, why we draw these lines, and what are the different equations of these lines. Okay. Anybody has any doubt, you can ask me. Anybody has any doubt about these lines, we can talk about it. Okay. Otherwise, I will shift my focus on modified Goodman line. We have a small concept of modified Goodman line. Okay. Before we proceed, this is the equation of once we have this equation, whatever equations we have seen, those are considering factor of safety 1. But say let's say factor of safety is n, right? Factor of safety is n. So what will be your SYT? What allowable stress will be SYT? Let's say this equation. Okay. So your allowable stress will be SYT upon n. Are you getting my point? Okay. I'm trying to explain you now these three same line equations, but with the factor. Okay. Anybody have any doubt? I heard some noise. Okay. I hope no doubt is there, and I hope you guys are listening. You guys are not sleeping because I am quite interested or I'm quite excited about these lines. This is very interesting topic, so I'm quite interested. So I hope you guys are also listening to me. Okay, where is my attendance? Let me just check that. Okay. Okay, so I was explaining you now the same lines but with the factor of safety. Now, see, SYT is your yield stress or SUT is your ultimate stress. Now, once we know that, how we can how we generally we get in a design, how we get our allowable stress, SUT upon factor of safety or SYT upon factor of safety, right? So, if our factor of safety is n, factor of safety is n. Then how this equation changes? Sigma m divided by SYT upon n, right? So this SYT upon n, it's in the denominator, it will go up and it will become sigma m into n. Are you getting my point? Upon SYT. Similarly, sigma a into n upon SC. And since n is common, we can take it out and we can send it to the other side. So equation will remain same. Sigma m upon SYT plus sigma a upon SC is equal to 1 upon n. Are you getting my point? See, I have shown it here. So Goodman line will become sigma A upon SE, sigma, this is actually, we have used different terminology. So same thing here, like sigma M upon SC. Goodman line is what? Sigma M upon SUT. Or Goodman actually, Gerber's is parabola, Goodman is straight line, sigma M upon SUT plus sigma A upon SE is equal to 1 upon n. So why we are dividing 1 upon n? Because n is factor of safety. It will be divided. We will be dividing factor of safety. Our SE or SUT. So since we are dividing it, it will go, it becomes a multiplier, and it will go on the other side as a divider. Okay. So same equations will remain, all the three equations will remain same. Only thing is that n will be here on the opposite side 1 upon n in Goodman line, Soderberg line 1 upon n. But in Gerber line, since it's a parabola, we cannot take it outside, because one is n square term and one is n term. So here it is clearly shown. See, sigma a upon se upon n. I'm talking about Gerber line. Sigma a upon se upon n. So it will become n into sigma a upon se plus n into sigma n upon sut bracket square is equal to 1. These are the equations when we have a factor of safety of n into consideration. Clear? I hope I am clear. I am not getting any kind of feedback from you guys. Okay, so no feedback, no questions, no doubt. Awesome. So let's try to understand what is now last part of this part of this lines, that is sort of modified Goodman line. Now see, again I'm taking a look at the same diagram. This is a modified. This is how we have drawn lines: Goodman line, Soderberg line, Gerber line. Now, okay, I can. पार्टिसिपंट कोण म्यूट नाहीये रे, कोण अथर्व भांगे, तू यू आर नॉट म्यूट, आय थिंक यू, आय कॅन हिअर यू गाईज. ओके, थँक्यू.
BDAF0 कोणतं?
अथर्व भांगे, दादा म्यूट कर. Okay, so let's continue. Now we would like to see what is modified Goodman line. Okay, why it is called modified Goodman line and how to use it. Now see, so what is the problem in Soderberg line? It is the most conservative or most safe, but problem is that we don't want most, we want the appropriate line. Goodman line is the best line to use, but the problem with the Goodman line is that as a mechanical engineer, if the load, static load goes beyond SYT, right, from SYT to SUT, that part is kind of problematic for us, right, as a mechanical engineer. For us, from SYT to SUT, because we once it goes beyond SYT, we are not interested. Are you getting my point? So from SYT to SUT, this part we are not interested, right? So now, how to compromise between good Soderberg line and Goodman line? Soderberg line is the safest, but there are some points where still we have, even though it's safe, we are not doing it, taking into consideration. And Goodman line is what you can say best line, but from SY2 to SUT, there are some failure points. So to avoid this confusion, or to avoid this, we have something called as modified Goodman line. So this is Goodman line. Okay, let me take a screenshot of this thing and put in a paint. Okay. Okay, let me just share my paint with you. Okay, because I want to do a little bit modification. New share. New share will be what? Paint. Okay. So I hope now my paint is visible to you guys. Now what I was talking about is now between the Soderberg line and Goodman line, we have to do a compromise. Means we have to cross the Soderberg line, but at the same time, we should not be going in a failure region. Now to compromise this, see what is the failure point beyond SYT. So what we do on this is x-axis is sigma m and y-axis is sigma amplitude. On y-axis also we plot SYT. Take a point SYT and join these lines, the dotted line SYT, SYT. Now this is a point, this triangle, any point below this line is safe from static load point of view, mechanical failure, static load, mechanical failure. It is not safe from the fluctuation point of view. Are you getting my point? So what we are trying to say is that between these, okay, let me just move this. Okay, what I'm saying is that, with bucket, okay. So this part, which is in the marked in a red, okay, or let's say, let me draw these lines. Okay, this is a triangle now. Okay, This is a safe triangle from the static point, means it is SYT here, SYT here. Means below SYT we are always safe from the static load. So this, any load between this triangle, static load, we are fine, right? Okay. But now fluctuating load is now, this is the line for the fluctuating load. Okay. So any load below this, we are fine from the fluctuating load, right? So now, since we know that this line is safe, but this is safe from the static load point of view. So now this area becomes, okay, let me what color, okay. Now this area which is, I show in a blue or purple color, that area is area which is not safe, because it is safe from the point of fluctuating load, but it is not safe from the point of static load, because it is crossing SYT. So this purple area which is not safe for our design. But any other area or the remaining part of the area, like this area and this area, this orange area is now safe for our design, because because that means it is crossing the Soderberg line, but it is not crossing Goodman line, and it is not crossing SYT in a static region. So this orange color is the most safe, what you can say, lines. So that's why this line is called as now. So let me just draw this curve. This is from here to here, from here to here, and from here to here. So the line I have drawn in this blue color, those are the called as modified Goodman line. Why? Because it is changing the. But anyway, I think you got my point. That is, since Soderberg line is the, what you can say, most conservative, we would like to cross that line, but at the same time, we do not want to cross the static load failure. So that's why we draw SYT points, and we join those lines, and the line where it intersects the Goodman line. So before that line we use SYT. After that we use the Goodman line. So this line is called as modified Goodman. See, I have drawn this also. So this is the now SYT. So this point SE to SUT, a straight line, point AB will be part of Goodman line, and DC will be, what you can say, DC will be SYT 45-degree line. So now our modified safe region will be O, A, B, C. Okay, again I will repeat. Here Goodman line is from A to F, right? SE to SUT, that is Goodman line. We have a line D to C joining SYT. Now we will be using the combination of these two lines, O, A, B, C. This curve will be the safest from the fluctuation as well as static load point of view. From A to B, it is safe from the fluctuation, and from B to C, it is safe from the static point load of view. Are you getting my point? So this region, this diagram is called as modified Goodman line. Okay, where I was. Why sharing is paused? Okay. Let me just take back to you to my Word document, because okay. So this is the diagram. See, I was explaining you this diagram. Same diagram is there. Only thing is that we have A to ABF is your Goodman line joining SC and SUT, and SYT joining C and D, having point B intersection with Goodman line. So this curve OABC is your modified, what you can say, Goodman line, or this is the safest region. A to B safe from the fluctuation, and B to C safe from the static load. So this region is called as most safe region, which takes combination of Goodman line as well as SYT line. Okay. So this line is called as modified Gerber line, modified Goodman line. So I have explained you now what is Goodman line, what is Gerber line. So now this, this plot is this angle theta is basically ratio of amplitude and mean, right? Tan theta is equal to sigma A upon sigma m. We take that, we take this. So means for given any given load, for mean stress, we can find out corresponding amplitude, using this kind of ratio. So once we know the mean stress, we can find the corresponding amplitude, or if we know amplitude, we can find out corresponding mean if we know this tan theta. Okay, so this is how we will solve the numericals. It's very straightforward and simple. We know the equation of line Goodman line. We know equation of SYT, and now what is the equation of SYT? Sigma m upon SYT, sigma a upon SYT is equal to 1. So sigma m plus sigma a is equal to SYT. That was the equation of this line. Okay, so I think we have spent enough time on what is Goodman Garba. I have explained you what are these three lines, how to remember these lines, why Soderbergh line is at the bottom, how what is Gerber line is actually Gerber parabola, what are the equations of these three. We have talked about that also. So I hope these lines are pretty clear to you guys now, and we will take an example of, see here factor of safety is also explained. I have explained this part also. So we will take a look at now last part, that is cumulative damage. So before that, just anybody has any doubt about this? We'll talk about it. Any doubt, any clarification needed? But in next lecture I will take a numerical on this. But to finish the topic, our theoretical part, I am just going to concentrate on what is cumulative damage. Something called as Minor's rule. What is that? We'll talk about that quickly. But before that, anybody has any doubt? तुम्ही काय विचारतच नाही, झोपलेच वाटतं, सगळे झोपलेच, मस्त झोपा काढतात किंवा मग मी सांगितलं काय कळत नाही. आयदर वन ऑफ दिस टू थिंग्स इज ट्रू. But anyway, I'm hoping that you guys are following what I'm saying, and so with this we will proceed now with the last topic of this unit, that is cumulative. Cumulative means damage in together, in all, cumulative. If we cumulate all the damage, how we can calculate there is something called as Minor's rule. It's a it's one of the simplest rule for this calculation of the cumulative damage. It said that if there are k different stress levels, I mean there are different stress levels k, and average number of cycles failure in the ith stress is Si. For it means ith stress, I mean, I is basically a number, means 1 2 3 4, there might be any number from 1 to k, right? For a given number of cycle, stress is failing at Si, stress is Si, and the corresponding number of cycle is Ni. Then the damage fraction is called as C. Now see, it might look like difficult to understand. So I will take an example. Okay, now what is this Minor's rule? So let's take an example of a paper clip. Okay, what is the example? If we have a paper clip, right, like this. Now I want to break this clip. Okay, so what I will do, I will open its side, okay, and turn it in 90 degrees. Okay, now if I ask you to break this clip, what is the easiest way to shear? But shear will require a lot of load. We cannot do it by hand. We cannot break this clip by shear with our head, with our hand. So what we will do? We'll use fatigue. We'll rotate it in 90 degrees, and again bring it to 0 degree, again 90 0 90 0, like that we'll keep doing, and it will fail after a certain point. This failure is called as fatigue failure, right? Because it is undergoing fluctuating load or cyclic load. Are you getting my point? So now as per this rule, or what is cumulative damage is basically, if this clip takes, say if I rotate it by 90 degree, and if it takes, say 10 rotation, or 10 times I have to do that, then that means total angle I needed was 90 into 10. That means 900 degree angle. That is the total angle needed to break this clip. So if I have an angle of 45 degree, how much or how many tries I will need? So for 90 degrees, I needed 10. So for 45 degrees, I will need 10 into 2. That is basically 20. Or for 30 degree, I will need 10 into 3, 330 degrees. Sorry, 30 times. So are you getting my point? So basically, this thing is called as, means to calculate the damage in number of times. We use the cumulative damage, this Minor's formula. So this now for this clip in this example, it was taking 5 turns of 90 degrees. Means rotate once in 90 degrees, again bring it back, again rotate it, do it like that for 5 times. After doing it 5 times, it failed. That means total stress or total angle required was 450 degrees. Now See, this is the example I have taken. Now in this example, what I did is now totally required is the 450. So I rotated it by 15 degrees four times, right? Then I rotated it in 30 degrees four times and 45 degrees four times. So how many times I have to rotate in 60 degree remaining? Are you getting? So again I will repeat. I have a paper clip which if I rotate it or turn it by 90 degree, I have to use 5 turns or 5 times attempts. So total is 450. So initially what I did, I turned it only by 15 degree. So total angle becomes 60. Okay. Then I turn it by 30 degree but four times. So total angle becomes 120. Then I turn it by 45 degree four times. Total becomes 180. So the total of this is 180 plus 120, 300, 360. So total turn I have is 360. How is remain? How much is remaining out of 450? 450 minus 360, 90 is remaining. So 60 degree, next turn is 60 degree. How many times I have to do it? 60 and 30, so one and a half. Right? So from here we will get. So this is the equation, for the Minor's rule. 15 into 4 plus 30, sigma of n into j, stress into number of cycles. So first stress of 15 degree I used it four times, second stress I used four times, third stress 45 degree I used four times, and fourth stress is now 60 degrees. How many times is x? Are you getting me? So sigma of number of cycles into corresponding stress upon total failure is basically, it will, I'm sorry. So in this case, it becomes, this total is 360 plus 60 into x is equal to 450. So this becomes 60 into 1.5. So this now x means, that means at 60 degree we have to turn it one and half turns. Or if I say last turn is 90 degree, I will say that it will be one turn. Are you getting my point? So concept is this. That means if something is done, if we are putting stresses and corresponding cycles, and if we want to find out total load, we can find out using this Minor's rule, right? This thing is called as, it's a damage, but we are considering different stresses and different cycles. That's why it is called as cumulative damage. Okay. So, actually, this is all about the concept of cumulative damage. Basically, it is called as Minor's rule. It is sigma, sigma of Ni upon N, Ni is equal to C. So we have seen application of that also. Okay. So I think that's it from the theoretical point of view. Next lecture will be a numerical on these lines, all these Soderberg, Goodman, and if possible modified also I'll try to take Goodman line, Gerber, parabola, and Soderberg. These three lines we will take a numerical in the next lecture, and we'll finish up with this unit. So this was seventh lecture, but we have completed the theoretical part of it, and next lecture we will try to take numerical. Okay, anybody has any doubt? We have a few seconds left, 30, 40 seconds. Any doubt you can ask me, otherwise you can simply thank me and you guys can leave now. Okay, so thank you all. Okay, thank you Rohit, Ronit, for the attendance and your attention.